I'm not interested in saving the world. I'm not saying this is a right or a wrong thing or a good or a bad thing. I don't want to make it about that. But you have so many people that are out here trying to reform law, trying to bring peace to the external world, right? To stop the war, stop the violence and racial hate and gender hate and who you love hate. They're all trying to stop these things. It will never happen. It will never happen on the external. But what I do care about is saving the minds of my fellow brothers and sisters that believe the world exists. See, the world is just a reflection of the mind. And people will say, well, Brandon, I don't see how. My mind is at peace. I don't see how what I see going on in Gaza or Ukraine or other parts of the world is a reflection of my mind. Well, that's because you still don't know who you are, right? Everything that we see is a reflection of the mind of Christ, the mind of the one Son of God. I talked about this in my video on the garden, the Elohim. And so, even though it's already happened, right? The dream is over. Evil has been conquered. The darkness has been dispelled. In the linear understanding of time and space, it's being played out. But it's already happened. It's over. It's done. You're walking the halls of Amente, the Akashic records. You're walking in your memory. You're lost in your memory. This is played out here in the physical, right? A person that suffers severe depression, they are lost in memory. They are lost in the past in their mind. This is what depression is. It is the suffering of the past. Anxiety is the worrying of the future. What hasn't even happened yet. You're worried about it. You're fearful of it. And you're inventing all of these things in your imagination and making them so real to you. This is how people can ask me, what do you mean the world isn't real, Brandon? It seems very real. It feels real. Yes, but you have no idea who you are. Again, I'll use this example. When you go to sleep at night and you dream, who else is in your mind constructing that dream world? No one. There's no one else in your mind, but yet you invent all characters and all scenery, every sight, every taste, every smell, every texture. All of the characters and what they're doing in your dream, you are controlling them. You are unaware of it, but you are controlling. You're making them act out. You're inventing them all. It's all coming from your mind and no one else's. And then you wake from the dream in the morning and you might have a little bit of a panic, or if it was a really good dream, you might have a little sense of joy there for a little while, but then you realize and come to your senses, so to speak, and you say, wow, that was just a freaking dream. That's what this is, guys. But it's a place where Jesus says in his course that you can act out what you believe about yourself. And so believing that you have separated yourself from God and you have invented this imaginary character called the ego, which is your body, which is the ultimate symbol of separation. It is the ultimate idol of the ego. You now act this out here. You see a world of death and decay and destruction and disease. Nothing survives unless something else dies. Because this is what you believe about yourself. And when you accept the truth that God presents to you, the actual true gospel that Jesus brought, not what Christianity teaches here in the West, it's hogwash. It's hogwash. But when you accept the true gospel, you now wake from the dream. Wake up from the dead, O sleeper, and Christ will bring you light, knowledge, truth of what? Of who you are. The truth of this world. The truth of everything. And so you'll become enlightened, whatever terminology you want to use. Consciousness will be raised, and you'll become aware, but you'll still play out your part here. You'll still play your part out here. Because what good is it to return home if parts of your very own mind aren't returned to wholeness as well? What good is that? You're still not whole. If one brother, if one sister, if one part of yourself is left in delusion, you are still deluded. If one part of yourself is still believing in the lie, the whole part of it is part of that lie. So the whole point is to rectify the whole mind, return the whole mind back to God where it has never left. You understand? I'm not interested in saving the world. I'm not saying don't be active. I'm not saying don't help people if they need to be helped. I'm not saying to not speak out against things that you're passionate about, but you have to keep in the forefront of your mind, none of this is real. Nothing is really happening. It is an imagining. It is a mirage in a desert. It's fake. It's fantasy. But in order to wake up from the fantasy, your mind has to be healed. It's the catch-22, and that's the one thing the ego will do everything in its power to prevent you from doing.